For today's oracle card, we are going to be looking at the concept of Chronos, or the idea of devouring time, hungry and destructive, the kind of time that is eating up our days and causing us to age. In Shakespeare Sonnet 19, he says, "Devouring time, blunt thou the lion's paws, and make the earth devour her own sweet brood. Pluck the keen teeth from the fierce tiger's jaws, and burn the long-lived phoenix in her blood." In that poem, Shakespeare is asking time not to cause his love to age. And aging is such a good example of Chronos. When we're thinking about tarot cards that this particular card might be amplifying, we would think about the Seven of Pentacles, the King of Pentacles, the Emperor, or the Hierophant. I see Chronos as a Senex figure, which is a old, kind of stuck in a rut, old, very regimented and curmudgeonly and slow-moving and stodgy kind of energy. When you draw this card upright, it would be a signal to get organized, to buy a planner, to make a schedule, to balance your checkbook, to do all of the things that are linear and ordered, and that idea of playing along with the march of time. If you get this card reversed, the idea is to do the opposite. Be playful, play hooky, call in from work for a mental health day, indulge your inner child, blow off the to-do list, spend the whole day reading, whatever it takes, bake some cookies. The idea here is to do the opposite. So as I was making this card, one of the things that I was trying to do was get to this idea of linear time in a couple of different ways. The photos that I chose for the collage were around the geysers at Yellowstone, and then also the concept of infinite linear time stretching on forward and forward and forward. And so I have an infinity room and some good Yellowstone imagery there to help us to think about linear time in the images itself. If you think about the images that we see at the New Year with Father Time as an old man with a scythe who is exiting at the end of the year, that is Chronos. Another good Chronos figure is Captain James Hook, who is also the adult who is curmudgeonly and grumpy. And he is chased by his own death in the form of the crocodile, who has swallowed a clock and is literally tick tock, the forward momentum of time is the signal of the crocodile, and also the thing that James Hook is the most afraid of. This is the kind of time that is devouring. So when we think about Greek mythology and also Roman mythology, in the astrology and the Roman mythology, Chronos is associated with Saturn. So if you want to think about your Saturn placements and Saturn return and all of that, that would be a Chronos moment as well. There is also a differentiation between Chronos, the god of time, and Chronos, the Titan. However, in the Renaissance, these two were conflated, and in fact, they were conflated even in ancient Greece. Both Plato and Plutarch write about how they are one and the same. But a lot of scholars tend to think that they're differentiated because they're two different words. And I am of the opinion that myths are intended to change over time, and that if we have conflated them imaginally, there's a reason for that. And Chronos is the devouring father. He is the father figure that ate all of his children, the Olympians. We're talking Hestia, Hades, Hera, Poseidon, and Demeter. Rhea gave birth to Zeus and made it so that she fed Chronos a rock instead of feeding him the baby. And so then Zeus was able to overthrow Chronos and rescue all of his siblings in order to become the Olympians in the Titanomachy. Are Chronos and Chronos the same? I'm not enough of a classicist to tell you. What I can tell you is that imaginally, I feel like they go together. The stamp or the category that this card falls in is time. So you'll also see me doing a stamp with a clock face onto the image of the card. Those stamps will appear on all of the 8 time-related cards in the deck. So that's another part of the image itself, as well as another part of the intention behind the image. With the painting behind the photographs, I also did very blue and very straight horizontal lines because Chronos is so very linear. So it's great when you buy a planner to kind of sink into some Chronos energy, but when you get too routine and too regimented and not spontaneous enough, watch for this card to show up in the reverse. Thank you, and I look forward to seeing how these cards work for you.